Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be talking about the possibility for a large nor'easter type snowstorm and storm in general that's going to come alongside a major Arctic blast in the medium range. Anyways, before I get into things, be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. For today's comment of the day, I want to know, do you think this snowstorm will happen or will not happen? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Now, this storm right now has guidance suggesting that it will be a snowstorm, just not a major one. But with the current setup that we're looking at with this one, there is the potential for a much more major snowstorm if models trend a little bit west with that low pressure system. So we're going to take a look at that in a moment. Here's the temperature anomalies right now. As you can see, we're undergoing a warm-up right now. So obviously no snowstorm is going to happen during this warm-up. But we will have a cool down because by the time we're reaching about 8 p.m. on Friday or tomorrow from the time I'm making this video, we will be below normal temperatures, actually significantly below normal temperatures for a lot of these green regions. But in similar fashion to what we've been dealing with, it's very quickly going to flip back to a warm pattern by the time we're reaching about 2 a.m. here on Monday. As you can see, reds across the eastern seaboard, but look right behind it in the upper Midwest, the Ohio Valley, and the Great Lakes. We have another very potent cool down on the way. And by the time we're reaching approximately 6 a.m. here on Tuesday, you can see this one really moves in with a bang. We have greens widespread throughout the southeast and in general, most of the eastern United States by this point. And then in those purplish shades, we have about 15 to 25 degrees below normal. And those are pretty widespread along the southeastern coast and then also for some of the Gulf states as well. So this is a very potent cool down, and that snowstorm, potential snowstorm that is, would be happening around the time frame that this cool down moves in, and this is the most potent one, so it's about as good of a setup as you can get for some possible snow this time of year in late November. Every single day this time of year, it's becoming more and more possible that snowfall occurs. Obviously, we're heading closer and closer to winter, so that should be quite obvious. Let's finally take a look at some of that simulated radar because this is going to be the most important thing. And we're kind of backtracking here. This is about 11 p.m. here on Sunday, November 21st. As you can see, we do have a lot of that precipitation for the Gulf states, the Mid-Atlantic, and the Northeast. It's in the form of rain right now by this point, but we can see that cold front just rapidly heading in. You can see the trough there with those blue lines horseshoeing down through the upper Midwest. That is that massive trough moving in. And by the time we reach about 5 a.m. on Monday, November 22nd, we'd have plenty of precipitation still along the eastern seaboard here, and that cool down is moving ever so closely towards the eastern United States. Now, this is when things start to get pretty important. This is by the time we're reaching the afternoon hours of Monday, November 22nd. You can see some snowfall starting to begin here for the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, and the interior northeastern and mid-Atlantic states of the United States. This is where if things trend further west, things could really come together because by the time we're reaching about 2 a.m. here on Tuesday, November 23rd, you can see we have a massive nor'easter offshore of the East Coast, a 990 millibar low pressure center that forms from that precipitation that was around. And if everything just pushes back just about 50 or 100 miles west, this is a major snowstorm right now, not, even for this time of year, even for the current temperatures that are being presented on screen here. This would be a massive snowstorm if just a small shift or a medium shift west happens or multiple smaller shifts happen, and that's not unheard of at all. But regardless, we do have some moderate to heavy snowfall going on for West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and New York. So even in this most minor type of situation with this one, it would still be pretty snowy to say the least. But if this thing trends west, it'll be much more snowy than what we're currently looking at. By the time we reach the mid-morning of Tuesday, November 23rd, this will be approximately 11 a.m. here. Again, Tuesday, November 23rd. We have snow, again, moderate to heavy there, still for West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio, New York, Vermont, and New Hampshire now. And we even have some snow showers there for the Delmarva, New Jersey, areas like New York City getting awfully close to that snowfall. And that nor'easter, as you can see, is curving towards the New England states, and this is important too. Usually this happens during a negative NAO, which we will have, so that's why that is super important. but it's beginning to do that curvature, and snowfall is surely beginning to accumulate by this point. And by the time we reach about 8 p.m. here, and this will be Tuesday, November 23rd on 8 p.m., we have a 986 millibar low pressure center about to hit Maine now, and we have that moderate to heavy snowfall really just diving into New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, even Connecticut, Massachusetts, even Long Island there of New York, down through New Jersey and the Delmarva as well. Extremely frigid air is going to be in place that night with that cool down we have in place, so many folks could see some surprising flakes if the precipitation does play out this way. Now, something interesting happens by the time we reach about 6 a.m. here on Wednesday, November 24th. We have that low pressure system transferring that energy from the one that just hit Maine to another system offshore, and we kind of get a double whammy here. 992 offshore of Cape Cod there, bringing heavy snowfall to Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, and New York. So this one is not going to end without a bang. We also see, I guess, the western 2/3 of Massachusetts getting in on some of that snowfall as well. And this one's just going to linger, and this could lead towards some accumulation if it does play out this way. This is the medium to long range, keep in mind, so confidence won't be as high as if it was short range. But this is looking like a decent signal that we've had around for quite a while. We've been tracking this storm for a long time now, and that combined with the cool down that's going to be moving through is kind of a recipe for some snowfall to take place regardless. 8 p.m. on Wednesday, we still have that 995 millibar low pressure center offshore of New England, and we still have that light to moderate snowfall by this point around for New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, even Connecticut and Massachusetts getting included there. So a lot of folks could see some surprising snowfall with this one. It's super, super interesting, the setup we have. And even by the time we reach this point, look at this. The cold air is still in place, actually. We still have temperatures in the greens that are 10 to 15 degrees below normal, which during the low hours is definitely sufficient for snowfall this time of year. Super interesting that we've had, such short-lived cooldowns and warm-ups, and now this model is really keying in on a potential very long lasting cooldown in the medium to long range here. And even by the time we reach Sunday, November 28th, we're going very long range here. This is going to be about 6 a.m. We have another signal for a nor'easter, but the pattern is so flat. But this model does keep the nor'easters coming. And if this pattern in this very long range frame doesn't actually end up looking this flat and we have more of a trough in the east with a stronger jet stream, this one could also track up the coast just like the one before it. So we'll need to watch for those possibilities. The important thing is that as of right now, this model does have multiple nor'easter type storms trying to form over the Gulf states and offshore of the southeast. It's really about, can it get up the coast? Is there going to be a jet stream in place to make that happen? And then will there be enough cold air? By the time we reach about 2 p.m. on Monday, November 29th, you can see that we do get this one to kind of come up the coast, but not quite enough. Now, for that storm that does bring snowfall, here's the total snowfall, and it's actually surprisingly high. In the grays, we have about anything to about 2 inches of snowfall. Now, in the blues, we have 2 to 6 inches of snowfall. Purples are going to be 6 to 10. Pinks are going to be 10 to 20. And then we see some of those pastels showing up for northern New Hampshire. That's where we're going to be 20 inches plus. So actually, plenty of 10-inch plus amounts being picked up on this model for this medium-range snowstorm, which is super interesting. 6 to 10, pretty widespread there in the purples. And pretty surprising regions could see some snowfall. And if you're in the grays, again, it's possible at this point you will see flakes. And that goes all the way down to D.C., Delaware, different regions of Maryland as well, which is super, super interesting for this time of year to see that occurring. Anyway, for today's confidence tab, we're at a moderate 4 out of 6. Really, confidence is not too high at this point. It is still in the moderate range. But the thing to note here is that I would be at a 2 or a 3 if it wasn't for the consistency that these models have had with this signal. So I do think a chance is likely, but will it really pan out? That's what's more uncertain for sure at this point. Now, for today's comment of the day, because we did talk about the snowstorm a little bit yesterday, I asked you guys, do you even think this could happen? Ethan Gillespie said, I think that it could happen with the immediate coast getting at least a coating to an inch and the interior east getting 6 inches plus depending on where. And that is what this model looks like at this point. So I thought that was a good comment of the day at this point. For today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons, Bill Crates, James Wade, Dovey Nagel, Little the Pan, Mandy Birchfield, and Patrick Strickland as well. I'd also like to thank our Diamond patrons, Bill Roberts, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harley, Mocha Kodalesa, Catbite, Charles Tinnett, Cindy Klein, Alan Goodmaven, Bill Dallas, Gary, John Colisi, Dwight Phelan, Stephen Cornethal, and Thomas D. Barr as well. I'd also like to thank our channel members, Catbite, Stephen Fan, and Jeremy Cox also. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. We will see you guys in the next video.